I thought we had a very productive meeting. There's 4 areas that we focused on. Is healthcare is probably #1 priority. Housing is another high priority. Immigration and infrastructure. Those are the 4 key areas that we talked about.
Did you talk about Bill 7 and some of the changes you're trying to make here in Ontario, and what did the Prime Minister say about that?
We did. Well, we agreed that the status quo is not working. We keep pouring billions and billions of dollars into healthcare. We've increased healthcare spending since I've been in office by about $14.5 billion, and we have 50 hospitals and $40 billion. But we do have to deliver it differently. We do agree. Neither of us are healthcare experts, but I really rely on the CEOs in the healthcare sector to give us advice. And everywhere I went, and every CEO I talked to and healthcare professionals were saying, we have 6,000 people. And I put this into perspective of large hospitals, like 500 beds. So that's equal to 12 full hospitals. And it's just not fair to the people. And none of us sitting here would want to put our loved one into a hospital bed with possibly 3 other patients in the rooms and bells and whistles going off constantly when we're building as rapidly as we can long-term care homes. And that's where I differentiate the hospital bed versus a home, the residents. And I use the example of my mother-in-law at West Park. A phenomenal long-term care home. You get to entertainment, and it's just a whole different atmosphere. A home versus a bed that they aren't getting the same care as they would with long-term care. Sure, Cynthia.
You keep saying that there are 6,000 people in hospital and alternate care who should really be somewhere else.
That's correct.
1,800 of them should be in long-term care. Yes. That's less than a third. So what are you doing about the other 4,000 or so? Because this is the smallest part of the people that actually should be somewhere else. So aren't you sort of looking at the smallest part of the problem rather than the big part?
We're looking at overall the 6,000 patients, and you're right, Cynthia, there is 1,800 that we can move immediately. For all my years in politics, I've never seen 3 of the major papers all agree on this, no matter if it was the Globe or the Sun or the Star, all saying, hey, you got to get patients out of the hospitals, the ALC patients, once they've been discharged, by the way, and get them into long-term care. And it's an atmosphere, again, that's not like a hospital. They don't get the care, the focus care in a hospital as they would with the long-term care. It's the right thing to do. I think, just talking to the healthcare professionals, they want it to happen, so we're making it happen. But there's so many other steps.
What about the other 4,000 that should be?
Yes. So we're going to make sure eventually they get there as well. When we're building, I think, Cynthia's 58,000. Again, I hate using the word beds. I want to use like residents and 58,000 people that are going to be able to call long-term care home a home. So as these are going up, and we've had a lot of rapid builds, and to put it into perspective, and I don't like getting into the political side, but I'm just going to tell you the facts. For 7 or 8 years, the previous government built 611 beds. We're building 58,000 homes, not literal homes, but rooms for people to go into, and we need to continue building at a rapid fashion. But Robert, do you have a question? Sorry. Yes.
Any new indication, given the state of the healthcare system, that the Prime Minister is interested and willing in providing this extra cash, the money that the premiers, you and the others have asked for, the increase in training? Do you get any new sense that there's movement on that?
Well, the new sense I have, and it's not even new, he's always wanted to work with the premiers. I was very upfront with him. I said, I'm only 1 out of 13 premiers. We have to get buy-in with the 12 other premiers from the provinces and territories. And there's always a deal to be had. There might be a little bit of a difference, but we're all focused on delivering the best healthcare system for the people of Ontario and Canada to the best of our ability. But I'm very, very confident after a great meeting over out east with Dominic LeBlanc. We have a phenomenal relationship, a great meeting here with the Prime Minister. We know how urgent this is, and we're going to make sure that we sit down and really work out a deal.
Was he on the
Yeah, sorry.
35%, was he open to increasing it to 35%, which has been the ask?
You know, Christina, thank you for the question. You know, I didn't get deep into the weeds. He knows what we're looking for, the 35%, the $28 billion, the 6% increase every single year. But I don't feel right myself sitting there without 12 other premiers. We've all agreed, the premiers, we all need to work together and work with the federal government and get the job done.
Premier, back on Bill 7, it's likely going to pass tomorrow. There's still some confusion about the rate of pay that people who refuse to be moved to a long-term care home could pay. Will you promise on the eve of the bill passing that people will not be paying the uninsured rate at a hospital, which is up to $1,800 a day?
Well, I'll tell you right now, I can't say 100%, but $1,800 is absolutely ridiculous. We'll have to work out a cost, and the hospitals have to work out the cost. The people that are determining that is not me personally. It's the hospitals and Ontario Health. So they'll work it out, but I can pretty well guarantee it's not going to be $1,800. We just want these patients to go into a proper environment that is just better for them. And again, I go back to my own personal situation with my mother-in-law or any of you. No one wants to put a loved one in a hospital bed compared to long-term care. We just have to continue building these.
We heard from supporters of your Strong Mayor's Powers proposal at committee yesterday saying that if mayors end up using these powers in a way that supports like NIMBYism, that they expect the Ontario government to step in some way. So if the new mayor of Ottawa, whoever that ends up being, uses those powers in a way that you don't agree with, what are you going to do?
Well, I'm going to have to, have the confidence in democracy, and the mayor doesn't have to use them, first of all. But we need to build more homes. And that was a conversation with the Prime Minister we had. And between the municipalities and the provincial government, the federal government, there's so much we can do to make things happen. And I have confidence that everyone's going to work together and really move forward. You can't have NIMBYism because everyone... everyone's saying, we need more homes, we need more homes. Oh, by the way, not my backyard. In the guy next door's backyard, but not my backyard. It just doesn't work that way. When we had the conversation about immigration with the Prime Minister, which is so important, it goes hand in hand. You bring more people in, and all of a sudden we need more homes. And our population is going to grow by 2 million people over the next 10 years. I think it's even going to be probably quicker. We brought in about 211,000 people last year. And we really want to work with the federal government, trying to get that flow going through certain sectors that we've desperately needed, no matter healthcare workers or skilled trades, and even people that aren't trained. You go into a restaurant or Tim's and they'll take people on board, then they'll train them within their company. But a lot of restaurants and Tim Hortons, you're going through the drive-through because they just don't have the people. We need people.
They were using these powers in a way that was completely contradictory to the province's agenda on these issues. Are you saying that you would not step in?
Well, that's a discussion we'd have to have with the two mayors, and that's why we're giving the two largest cities the opportunity. Just my experience down at City Hall, I'll tell you, and I share this with Mayor Tory, and as you know, you can't find anyone better than Mayor Tory when it comes to working collaboratively with everyone. But he's the mayor. He was elected by the entire city. You can't have a single councillor have the same vote as the mayor. And ironically, my brother voted against me on this one when he was mayor. He didn't believe in it. But I truly believe you have to have a system that the mayor has a little bit more pull than a councillor. And by the way, the mayor, especially Mayor Tory, gets more votes in each riding than the councillors do. He's a popular guy. So.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Did you talk at all about your plan for having more surgeries in private clinics?
Actually, that never came up. But there's a host of different things that we need to do. And again, I'm relying on the healthcare experts and One I really rely on is a group of CEOs of the hospitals that have been in the sector for many, many years, that are a lot smarter than I am when it comes to delivering health care. And they're coming up with great ideas. We can't do the status quo. We got to change things. Again, no matter if it's two things that stand out to everyone, including myself. Catch up on the backlog surgeries. And when you go into an emergency department, you can't be sitting there for 10 or 12 hours. Tell me the tools you need. We'll provide those tools, and let's set KPIs, and let's all work together until we can make sure that we have some relief on especially the healthcare workers. These folks work their backs off around the clock, massive pressure. We need to have more trained, even though we've added 14,500, but they get spread out throughout the sector as well. Do we get one more question? Richard, sorry, Richard. Yeah.
Money promised for parents. We still don't know how much or when. Are those details available yet, sir?
New money for what? What are we talking
You
about?
promised parents more money in the budget you just tabled. Do we know how much they're getting and when, sir?
I'm going to have to leave that with the finance minister, and he'll divulge that. And but I think any bit of money that will help any family, I think it's important. I'm just a strong believer that the people can spend the money a lot wiser than any government. They can use it the way they feel is appropriate for their families or themselves, and I think it's good for the economy too. As I say, it's kind of the no-brainer to get done. But anyways, I want to thank everyone. We had a very productive meeting, and we look forward to having a good, mutually rewarding relationship for the people of Ontario and the federal government. And I always say about the Prime Minister, there's things that all of you know and the public knows we may not agree on, and we will never agree on, but we sat down and we rattled off everything that we can agree on and what we've accomplished. I don't know too many premiers and prime ministers that have had the relationship, no matter if it's investing billions of dollars together in the auto sector, hundreds of thousands of jobs, the critical minerals, battery manufacturing, childcare, and throughout the pandemic, the list goes on and on and on. So, you know, we work together. People expect us. When there's an election, yeah, there's mud being thrown back and forth, but I can assure you, you know, they expect us to work together. And in Ontario, they've always had this balance. I can never figure it out. And I'm going to give you one little story. So my friend, Italian background, father, you know, from Italy, and during the election, he goes, "Dad, who did you vote for?" He goes, "I vote for Ford." No problem. He goes, "But I vote for Trudeau too." And he goes, "Why? Why do you do that?" He goes, "Because they keep an eye on each other." Simple. That's it. You know, there's a balance in Ontario. It works for everyone, and it's all good. And I look forward to working with the federal government. Thank you.